This is the current mathematical structure of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Look closely at it. It is completely broken, it is violently unstable, and structurally, it is dying. But we have been on a, let me say, amazing transition over the past few years, from uniting everyone together to stop the pink guy, to turning Captain Marvel into a Disney princess. Being a frustrated Marvel fan, I want to find the reason why. I mean, everyone says superhero fatigue this, bad writing that, something about the time of heroes having passed. But they are all wrong. We are going to find out what really happened. Today, we will be using math and graph theory to try to find exactly why the MCU network has been shit lately. But to understand how the greatest cinematic experiment turned into a mathematical joke, well, let's start from the beginning. 2008, Phase 1. Long before Robert Downey Jr. had white hair, the beginning of the network. In graph theory, characters are nodes and their relationships are edges, but not all connections are equal. Tony Stark is obviously closer to Peter Parker than he is to Wong. Therefore, we have to assign a weight to these connections. The closer the character, the heavier the weight. So, how do we actually calculate this? We quantify the screenplays. Every time two characters share a scene, their connection weight increases. If they never meet, the edge is 0. Like the first Iron Man film, Tony is undeniably the main character because he has the most scenes and screen time. Therefore, he is the center node. Surrounding him are Pepper, Happy, and Rhodey. They all connect to Tony, but they also connect to each other, strengthening the overall net. The crazy thing is, if we watch the entire film, record all the scenes, and calculate all the weights, we find this beautiful network. It might not look good now, but keep it in mind, we see that the strongest connection is, unsurprisingly, Pepper and Tony, due to their romance. The second connection is Tony and Rhodey. Rhodey, the Black Iron Man guy, yeah. It is called Degree Centrality. It measures the number of direct connections a character has. Tony is the main character, because his degree centrality is astronomical. But here's the catch. A small, isolated network isn't a universe. To build a universe, you need bridges. There is something in network science called Betweenness centrality. We can call it BC. Now, I know that sounds like a textbook definition, but stick with me here. What it actually means is this. It means how often a node lies on the shortest path between all pairs of nodes in a network. Just words, right? Let's say it this way. Who acts as the bridge? The character with the highest BC is the character who connects completely isolated sub-franchises that would otherwise never interact. We will see this effect as the MCU timeline goes on. If we move on to 2011, the network gets bigger. By the time we hit Captain America, the first Avenger, crucial characters emerge with massive betweenness centrality, namely Nick Fury and Phil Coulson. I mean, yeah, these characters appeared in the previous movies, in what Marvel calls a post-credit scene. Why does this matter? This link provided a way for various characters to meet, therefore creating the larger MCU network. What else did you notice as the network got larger? The amount of connections has vastly increased. This introduces an intrinsic property of every single network. It is called network density. Yeah, such an NPC name, right? It is simply the number of current connections divided by the overall possible connections. We see that a smaller network, like Iron Man, has a very high network density compared to a massive network, like the Captain America era network. This is due to the fact that the smaller network has fewer possible connections to begin with. Therefore, as a network gets bigger and bigger, the density naturally reduces. Take note of this. It is very, very important because this single mathematical reality is exactly what breaks the MCU 10 years later. Since we have got all of that out of the way, as time goes on in the MCU, the network becomes bigger. The box office explodes, and Marvel finally shows DC how to do a cinematic universe. Phase 1 comes and goes. The most influential character is Tony Stark because he's the one with the highest BC. As we move to Phase 2, we see that the number of connections gets larger, and new characters like the Guardians of the Galaxy and Ant-Man are introduced. The original network in Phase 1 is already very connected due to the Avengers films, but the new characters in Phase 2 are like islands that have few connections to the main network. After a successful Phase 2, Marvel went on to produce something much greater, Phase 3, but this marked a new era. A lot of characters debuted in this phase, like Spider-Man, Captain Marvel, Black Panther, and Doctor Strange. The phase grossed $13 billion globally. This was Marvel's prime. The MCU network here was peak. Due to a lot of crossovers, the network got connected on all its edges. The network grew, even if Thanos killed like half of them and they came back again. The most influential was obviously Tony Stark. Bro is literally the main character. And then dead. Then we come to the end of the MCU. Like, for real, this was the last time Kevin Feige watched any MCU movie, because I just feel he just releases the film without checking them. The main characters die. The giant nodes holding the entire network fade away. I mean, it was a good idea to say goodbye, but mathematically, the network needs nodes to hold it together. Then new characters are added in Phase 4 and Phase 5, and there is no major character to connect them. The only major characters were Thor, who didn't really do anything, Hawkeye, who was retired, Hulk, may never be seen again, Captain Marvel, we don't talk about it, and Spider-Man. Nobody remembers him. Like, you get my point. There are no major characters anymore, just little isolated characters that add nothing to the network. The MCU is officially dead. All we have is a fragmented multiverse. Phase 4 and Phase 5 just added more and more characters without connecting them, making the network shallow and empty, which brings us right back to the broken, fragmented, dying graph we saw at the very beginning of this video. But maybe, just maybe, there is hope. Maybe they could finally fix the network by connecting all the essential characters together again. In graph theory, there is an exact way to heal a broken system. It means that to survive, all new, isolated nodes must violently connect to a single, highly active hub. We are already seeing sparks of this. Look at Deadpool and Wolverine joining the X-Men to the MCU, the Fantastic Four joining the MCU. All of these are good, but Marvel needs a new main character. They need someone with massive degree centrality to hold the entire network up. Maybe Spider-Man, maybe Doctor Doom. We may never know for sure until it happens. But the math proves one undeniable thing. A cinematic universe is never about the CGI budget, or the massive marketing campaigns, or the fancy new characters. It's all about connection,